November 2, 2016. A picture-perfect autumn day in Redding, California. Sherri Papini, a 34-year-old mother of two, laces up her running shoes and heads out for a jog, just like any other day. But this day was different. Sherri wouldn't return home. Her husband Keith found her phone and earbuds neatly placed on the side of the road, a chilling sign that something was terribly wrong. The news spread like wildfire. A young, beautiful mother vanished into thin air. The community rallied, organizing massive search parties. Her face was everywhere on news channels, social media, and flyers plastered across the country. Bring Sherri home became a national plea. People were captivated and terrified. Everyone imagined the worst, praying for a miracle. Then, 22 days later, on Thanksgiving morning, the miracle seemed to happen. Sherri Papini was found on the side of a highway 150 miles from her home. She was emaciated, bruised, and branded. Her long blonde hair had been chopped off. The nation breathed a collective sigh of relief. She was alive, but her story was horrifying. She claimed she had been abducted at gunpoint by two Hispanic women in a dark SUV. She described a harrowing ordeal of being chained, beaten, and starved in a dark room. The details were graphic and terrifying, painting a picture of pure evil. The public was outraged. A sketch of the alleged abductors was released, and the hunt for these mysterious captors began. Investigators from the Shasta County Sheriff's Office and the FBI immediately launched a full-scale investigation. They pored over every detail Sherri provided, desperate to bring her attackers to justice. But as the days turned into weeks, something felt off. The evidence just wasn't adding up. There were no witnesses to the abduction on that busy road. No surveillance footage captured the dark SUV she described. The physical evidence found at the scene where she was dropped off was minimal and confusing. It was a frustrating and perplexing case. For every lead they followed, they hit a dead end. The story, as terrifying as it was starting to show cracks. Detectives, trained to spot inconsistencies, started to notice them in Sherri's own accounts. Her descriptions of her captors and her confinement were vague and sometimes contradictory. She claimed she had been branded with a heated tool, but the brand appeared to be made with a wood-burning craft tool, not something you'd expect from professional criminals. She had bruises, but they seemed to be self-inflicted. And then there was the DNA. Male DNA was found on Sherri's clothing, but it didn't match her husband, Keith. This was a significant break. Who did this DNA belong to? The investigation shifted from hunting for two female abductors to finding the man connected to this mysterious DNA sample. Using advanced familial DNA technology, the same kind used to catch the Golden State Killer, investigators got a hit. The DNA belonged to a relative of one of Sherri's ex-boyfriends, a man named James Reyes. When they tracked James down, the entire house of cards came tumbling down. He wasn't a kidnapper. He was a willing participant in a bizarre plan. He confessed to investigators that Sherri had contacted him, claiming she needed to escape her abusive husband. He agreed to help her. He picked her up in his car on the day she disappeared and drove her to his apartment in Southern California. For those 22 days, while the nation searched for her, Sherri Papini was voluntarily hiding out in his home. The evidence was overwhelming and undeniable. James Reyes provided a detailed account of their time together. He explained how Sherri had starved herself to look like a victim, how she asked him to brand her with a wood-burning tool, and how she orchestrated her own injuries to make her story believable. He even described driving her hundreds of miles and dropping her on the side of the highway on Thanksgiving morning, completing the final act of her elaborate play. Confronted with this mountain of evidence, including phone records and toll booth data that corroborated James's story, Sherri's narrative completely collapsed. The supermom victim was, in reality, the mastermind of a stunningly cruel hoax. In March 2022, nearly 6 years after her staged disappearance, Sherri Papini was arrested. The news sent shockwaves through the community that had once rallied so hard for her. The sympathy turned to anger and betrayal. She had not only lied to her family and friends, but had also deceived an entire nation. She had wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars in law enforcement resources and, perhaps worst of all, had stirred up racial tensions with her false description of two Hispanic assailants. She eventually pleaded guilty to mail fraud and making false statements. She admitted that the entire abduction story was a lie. During her sentencing, Sherri expressed shame and remorse for her actions. The case leaves us with unsettling questions about the nature of truth and the lengths some people will go for attention. It's a modern-day fable about the dark side of wanting to be the center of the story. The SHERRI PAPINI case serves as a stark and disturbing cautionary tale. In an age where viral fame and public sympathy can be intoxicating, her story shows the devastating consequences of chasing a narrative, no matter the cost. She created a fictional drama and cast herself as the star. But in the end, the truth came out, and the fallout was real and destructive for everyone involved, especially her own family. It's a powerful reminder that lies, no matter how elaborately constructed, have a way of unraveling, leaving a trail of wreckage in their wake. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating cases. See you next time.